How are we doing, folks? Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions. This is your Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every day. This is your Man City versus Liverpool preview. Absolutely brilliant to have the Premier League back somewhat. I did enjoy the international break and a bit of downtime, even though we pumped out a bit of content there for you. But it's good to be back, get back into the groove. Massive weekend of sport coming up. I've been flat out. That's why this one is a little bit late going out. Non-stop content going out this week in terms of wrestling. As you know, wrestling is my other love in my life. So yeah, we were pumping out a lot of stuff there during the week. WrestleMania 39 starting tomorrow night, of course, night one. And of course, tonight we have SmackDown and the Hall of Fame. But switch to the football now. This is your preview: Man City versus Liverpool, coming to you tomorrow from the Etihad, 12:30 lunchtime kickoff. Not bad enough that we're only back off an international break, but a lunchtime kickoff as well, which we absolutely detest as Liverpool fans. What is up, Henry, my man? Good to see you there in the comments. Good stuff. See you there, my bro. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Listen to both press conferences today, and it's amazing when you listen to the press conferences, the level of respect that both these men have for each other. It's absolutely phenomenal. Don't forget to check out Henry's channel as well. And Stevie. Stevie's in there as well. Statman Stubbs. How are you, Stevie? Good to see you, man. This begins a fine run of games for us that will shape, I think, our top four battle. And I think this week will define whether we have, say, the cojones to go up into that top four or whether we're going to melt. And it starts tomorrow. Tomorrow's game will really set the narrative because, of course, tomorrow we're away at the Etihad. Then Tuesday evening we're away at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea, and then next week we're at home at Anfield for Arsenal. And that's a game that's normally okay for us. But Arsenal have been going against the grain this season. They've been picking up results where they haven't done in the past and shown their title credentials, I should say. For City, as I said down there, it's a kind of a title versus top four race for them. They need to start their pursuit of Arsenal. Needs to start from tomorrow. They can't afford to really drop any more points and give Arsenal any more sort of leverage, if you like, if they want to push for this. And the kind of thing that's not being spoken about, but it's on the line as well. They are chasing a treble as well this season with the Champions League and the FA Cup still to come as well for them. So it'll be interesting to see how tomorrow goes. For us, our season has been a huge disappointment. So much stop-start, so many injuries, bullshit off the pitch in relation to the background in the club and the ownership, and kind of everything that could go wrong has gone wrong this season. But look, we're Liverpool fans. We're not going to sit here. We'll lick our wounds. We'll take it. It's a season that had to be written off one way or another for all sorts of different reasons. But this is our opportunity to kick back and also do a double over Man City in the league, which will be some little consolation, let's say. But it is a massive. It's a massive game. In the bigger scheme of things and stuff like that, and the fact that it's kind of, we're back off an international break, so it's hard to know in what way the both teams will find their rhythm. Talk at the moment that Haaland might be out, but I don't think he's going to be out. We know Foden's out. Obviously, he had the surgery for the appendicitis, but I don't think Haaland's going to be out the way Pep is talking. I think he's going to be fine. And thinking about it that way, and I know there was a lot of talk about it as well, where the boys were saying they'd rather face Haaland than Julian Alvarez. And I can understand that as well, because with Haaland, you know what you're getting. You're going to get a big, powerful, strong, strength runner. It's going to go at you with a powerful shot and stuff like that. So that kind of matches up well to the likes of Kanate and Van Dijk, who in the past have managed to keep him very quiet. He also likes that bit of shithousery when he's around defenders as well. So the boys will lap that up as well, not a bother to them, He might try and do that against smaller defenders, but against boys like Van Dijk and Kanate, you're not going to get away with that kind of intimidation stuff. That doesn't sit with those boys. With Julian Alvarez, if he comes in and Haaland doesn't make it and maybe only makes the bench, then it's a kind of a different kind of dynamic, really. You've got Julian Alvarez coming in there who moves across the whole front line, who plays within the spaces, who kind of confuses things. You know, one minute he could be over right on Trent's side there with Konate trying to look after him. Next minute he'll pop up beside Van Dijk. Next minute he could be over at Robbo and then back over to Trent again. So it causes that confusion. And then causing that confusion as well, although he picks up goals himself, he causes that confusion to allow other players to come into the game and open up those spaces. So that's why, although Haaland has been outstanding this season, by far the best player in the Prem, and I mean his goal record and everything is an absolute machine. Let's not take that away from him. But Julian Alvarez is one I would worry about in terms of our concentration, let's say. It's very easy to concentrate on a guy like Haaland, who's a big guy in your face, who you have to get about and you have to man up to. When they're up against the likes of a Julian Alvarez, who kind of, I get Aguero feels out of him at times, it's a different narrative, a really different narrative. And that's why I think the boys were coming out saying they prefer if Haaland was playing. I don't think they were saying that out of disrespect to Erling Haaland. I think what they were doing is they were saying, well, if he plays, we have a better idea of kind of what we need to do. Now, of course, the Etihad hasn't been necessarily a happy hunting ground for us either. So there's a lot stacked against us tomorrow. And there was talk that Luis Diaz might be back in there, but it doesn't sound like it from Klopp's press conference today. Sounds like he still needs another week or two maybe before he's going to be really in and around the team. But good to hear that he's on the mend and they're taking their time with him coming back. But it has taken a long time. I mean, I think we've seen video footage of him outside jogging probably nearly a month ago at this stage, you know, so it's hard to know why these things take so long. But I suppose depending on the injury and everything else and how the rehab goes and what way you want to do it, and they know that he had this reoccurrence when we were out in Dubai and stuff like that, so they're just trying to be really careful with him, and I get that. But yeah, it's just been one of those seasons, and then this game comes up, and then you have this week, nightmare week, and think about it. I was thinking about it today. I was listening to Dave's show earlier, Dave's LFC chats and stuff like that. Great show. And I was in the chat there and all. And I was thinking about it today. And I was thinking, you know, normally a week like this, we would embrace it. We would go, this is great. Top teams. This is what we want to play against. A game every 3 days. Keep that rhythm going. And that's the thing we haven't been able to find this season. We have absolutely found no rhythm at all. It's been kind of one step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You know what I mean? And you look, we'll see in the moment the actual current form and stuff like that, and it says a lot about it, really. But it's been a real struggle. Take a few comments here. Henry's in. I'm fine. Thanks, Niall. Hi, Stephen from Henry. Hi, Henry. And Henry's back. Whatever happens to Moz and the run-in, we are still very much Liverpool fans. That will never change. Been following Liverpool now 40 odd years at this stage. It's not going to change. I've seen us. People don't realise because we've been on such a wave the last few years. You know what I mean? I've seen us way worse than this. I've seen us attract in way worse players. Like it's an interesting one that you say there, Henry, because when I listen to people talking about how, you know, if we don't make top 4 and how we're going to attract in players and all this kind of thing, I just scoff and laugh at that kind of stuff because, you know, I've seen us attract in some really good players when we were really in dire straits, and I've also seen us sign some really bad ones as well. So, but it's one of those things. It's like you hear people when they talk like that. It's like we've never been out of the top 4 or we've never been in a pretty poor situation and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Yeah, great comment. Absolutely, we'll always be Liverpool, true and true. From the cradle to the grave, as they say. Current form at the moment. Man City, of course, 5 wins and a draw in their last 6. The draw coming no less at Nottingham Forest, which is kind of an interesting one. And it was kind of interesting listening to Pep today as well, where he said they were talking about how, you know, the form of Liverpool over the last X amount of seasons is what's really pushed them on. And it was interesting to listen to one of the reporters today at the press conference. He asked Pep, did he think that the drop-off in Man City was partly caused because of the drop-off in Liverpool not pushing them the way they have over the last few seasons. So it was an interesting dynamic to think that way. Now, obviously, our drop-off has been a lot more staggering than their drop-off. But yeah, it was an interesting dynamic to talk about it. Liverpool Premier League form. 4 wins, a draw, and a loss in our last 6. Of course, the draw against Crystal Palace, which was tragic, and that loss against Bournemouth was even worse. Henry's back up. Having the strength like a warhouse, Emlyn Yu is being carried on Shankly's back all bloody shit. There you go, man. There you go. We need that mentality again, 100%. 100%. And, I wanted to talk about that today because Pep spoke. Pep was asked about his thoughts on Liverpool today. And he said his thoughts haven't changed. He says they're an outstanding team that he still, he'd be concerned about and stuff like that. And, you know what I mean? He still has a lot of admiration for the team and what we achieve and stuff like that and all. So I hope that the Liverpool players tomorrow take into the pitch, whoever it is, and of course we'll go through it. I hope they take that on board, that they understand that these haven't suddenly become, and we've been saying it all season, they haven't suddenly become bad players. And in a lot of the big games this season, they've shown up or been very unlucky at times in games. So there's still a very good base of a team there with a sprinkling of other players as well, with a real good chance. And who knows what could happen tomorrow. Acers is in. How are you, Acers? Good to see you, man. City will win tomorrow. Look, I don't disagree with you. You know what I mean? I have a prediction there, but would we be surprised? You know what I mean? But it's just it's how it's not so much whether City win tomorrow. It's more about how we perform. Like if City beat us tomorrow 2-1 and we perform well, we can take something from that into the Chelsea game or take something from that into the Arsenal game. If we go out tomorrow and we get pumped 4 or 5-0, we're going to be in serious trouble this week in the following 2 matches coming up. And that's where the problem is. Like we're going to City and, if we come away with a point, it'll kind of be satisfactory so long as we can springboard into the other games, potentially beat Chelsea and beat Arsenal, because at the moment from these 3 games, you would take 7 points in a heartbeat, So let's see how this goes. But this is obviously game 1 of 3 this week coming up. So it's going to be really, really important that we put on a good show tomorrow. Something we haven't done at lunchtime games, obviously, So really, really concerning from that point of view. In terms of team news, we know that Haaland is a slight doubt, but I think he'll be okay listening to Pep today. Foden is out, obviously, and the rest have a kind of a clean bill of health, so they're all good there. And look, there's an amazing squad that they have there. If Haaland is out, as I said, Julian Alvarez will probably come in and create that different dynamic, that kind of false 9 way of playing and stuff like that. Won't be an out-and-out striker and stuff like that, which I think is way more dangerous in terms of our mentality. I don't think we need Acers. Liverpool need 9 points to have any chance of top 4. I don't think we need 9 because Newcastle are playing United on Sunday, and I think I'm not sure who Spurs have. Have Spurs got Forest, is it? Who have Spurs got at the weekend? I'm not too sure, chat. I can't remember after doing that show last night. But I don't think necessarily we need 9 points out of this. I think if we got 7 or if we got 6, I think we might be okay. But we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be nailed on that either. There will only be 1 goal in it. I mean, there won't be a goal fest from Haaland. There could be, Henry. There could be. If that man is switched on, anything can happen. They have Everton. Yeah, Everton on Monday night as well, Acer. So, that's a tough one there, because they're going to Goodison. That's not going to be easy, regardless of what the managerial change is. Goodison is a tough place to go to get points. They'll be scrapping it out and fighting for their lives as well to get something out of that. So, you could see a situation potentially where if we got a draw tomorrow, Newcastle could draw on Sunday, Spurs could draw on Monday night, then it'd be another game gone, but honours even, if you like, in terms of that gap into top 4. So may or may not be, as you said there, Everton. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. So, but I wouldn't be panicking quite yet. There's still a good few games to go and stuff like that, For us, in terms of injury news, obviously Costas picked up an injury in the international break for Greece, so that's him out. Thiago, we know, is out. Stefan, who was having a great season, is going to he's going to be out for the rest of the season, unfortunately. And Calvin Ramsey is also out, so that's it. So that's where it is. And I suppose you could say Luis Diaz is also out at the moment because I don't think he's going to be available on the bench tomorrow. So, but he is on his way back. The real concerning thing about this game, Acers reckon Spurs won't get top four. So who are you going for your top four? I presume you're going Arsenal, City in whatever order, and then you're going for United, I presume. So outside of that, then who are you going with? Henry reckons Spursy will be like Barca when Kane goes to Bayern. Bayern won't spend that money on Kane. Not a chance. Be interesting though. Be interesting. I don't think Harry Kane is ever going to leave Spurs. I think Harry Kane is very comfortable being the man at Spurs. And to be honest with you, at this stage in his career, I don't know whether he gives a toss about trophies. Because I think if he cared enough about trophies, I think he would have left a long time ago. Let's talk about lineups here, and especially we'll have a conversation about the midfield. Let us know your thoughts, chat, and what you're thinking on the lineup here. City are obviously going to go in with Ederson, Walker, Stones, Diaz, Ake, De Bruyne, Rodri, Gundogan, Bernardo, Silva, of course, Haaland and Grealish if Haaland is available. If Haaland isn't available, Alvarez will slot in there, but in a kind of a different formation. For Liverpool, you're probably looking at Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho, Elliott, which is a conversational piece, Salah, Gakpo, and Nunes. I think the Liverpool side at this stage, because we don't tend to change formation and we don't necessarily normally have a plan B and stuff like that, kind of at the moment because of injuries and everything else is picking itself. So there's not a whole lot that you can change around there because of injuries and various things. The only one I would be concerned about would be Elliott, because I could see Elliott getting bullied by that midfield, and as has happened in the past. So he would be the only one I would be worried about if we're going with a 4-3-3 and he's 1/3 of that midfield, obviously coming up against Rodri, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva. They could have the means and the power to bully him there, and he could be a little bit exposed. And then if he's getting bullied a lot, that isolates what's happening down that right-hand side, and not a hell of a lot comes from it then. But then again, you have to ask yourself, what are our options? Now, our options, what do? Do you put James Milner in there? Then you're kind of killing off a lot of your creativity that Elliott probably brings on that forward movement. But again, if he's not able to play his game, that gets negated anyway. So let us know what you're thinking in the chat in the midfield there. What you're thinking. That's the battle where the game is basically won and lost, really. I am concerned who's playing midfield, though, chopping and changing like musical chairs with broken seat. Yeah, it's very much so, and it's been like that all season. It'd be interesting to see how many different midfields combinations we have played this season, or to see how many runs of games we have played with a settled midfield. I can't remember many at all. There's always seems to be a change there. But good one, Henry. Good shout there. If Liverpool played like they did in Carabao Cup game at Etihad in December, yeah, yeah, I don't know, but I mean, we've seen what we could do to them in the league, and we've seen what we did in the Community Shield as well. So we can match up to them on any given day. We can match up to any team on any given day. It's just this season has just been bewildering at times in terms of what's going on. Eno's in the chat. What's the crack, Niall? All good, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't forget, folks, if pro wrestling is your thing, Wrestling Mania tomorrow, top floor of Stevens Green Shopping Centre, between 2 and 4:30. Kenny Noble will be on site, launching his Wrestling Mania book, The Greatest Show on Earth. Some fabulous artwork and all. He'll be there to sign copies, take pictures, chat with everyone, have a chat about the book and all that kind of stuff. So 2 to 4:30, it should be electric. We'll have classic WrestleMania matches on both TVs as well all day. Should be a lot of fun. So come along, chat to Kenny. This man is from Thurles and Tipperary, but he poured 3 years' work into this book, starting off during the lockdowns and stuff like that. The artwork is just sensational. You won't be disappointed if you pick up the book, and you'll also be supporting a fellow Irish professional wrestling fan. So take the opportunity to do that while you can, without a doubt. So that's it. Yeah, good to see you tomorrow, Eno, no doubt. So yeah, that's the kind of lineups, and that's my real concern is in the midfield. I think up front, I think we easily match them up front, talent for talent. Although Haaland's a sensation, but that's neither here nor there. I had a look at the betting. So will you be watching the football tomorrow? I will be watching the football tomorrow, not on the phone tomorrow afternoon. I'll have it on the TV. I'll have it on one of the TVs. The other TV will be showing classic wrestling matches, and then we'll switch over to wrestling then for the rest of the day. How could I not watch this match, even for my sins? As iffy as it is and as dodgy a season we've had, of course we have to watch it. Reckons he'll be in around 1:30, no problem at all. We shall chat then, have everything laid out and all in the shop ready to go. So, looked at the betting today. Of course, we always use Boyle Sports for our betting over here. So, Man City are 8-13 on, very short odds, and rightly so. If you look at the form, when you think about it, the international break came at the worst time for Man City because Man City were absolutely flying before the international break. The draw is 3-1, and Liverpool are 4-1. I didn't really pick out a bet. But I'm kind of thinking if you want to have a decent bet, and it's probably going to be maybe 6 or 8-1. Probably both teams to score in both halves might be the one. Henry, it would be a miracle if we get fourth, especially for this month's games. Yeah, absolutely. And not only a miracle, you'd have to ask yourself at the end of the day, with the way we've played in the season we've had, would you even look at us in terms of deserving a top four? I mean, we'll take it if we get it, but good Lord, I mean, we've been absolutely shocking. Acers, looking forward to Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor tonight after SmackDown. Yeah, it looks absolutely awesome. Acers, no doubt about it, yeah. Might take a go at that as well if we can stay awake. But yeah, it's been a crazy week, so much going on. Anthony Joshua's fighting in the boxing as well. We got some sensational football. Premier League is back, and of course, it's pro wrestling all weekend. WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. Prediction. Give us your predictions in the chat, folks. What are you going for, Henry, Acers? What are you predicting for this game? Let us know. I'm going to go with, and I'm putting my hand out there to be slapped, because, as you know, my predictions haven't been great this season, while trying to stay as positive as I can. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw, which is a big scoreline normally for these two teams, but I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think both teams tomorrow really have to go for it because we really need to get something out of this game for our top four race. But if we didn't, it wouldn't be an absolute disaster, but we still need to try and get something. It would sort of, as I said, springboard us into the next two games as well, which is really what we need, especially coming into this after an international break. Poor showing against Bournemouth, tragic against Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. So it's hard to see where it comes from, but when these games kind of form goes out the window, doesn't it? When you're playing in these bigger matches, this would normally be, a title race 6-pointer over the last few years, But this very dynamic for both teams at the moment. City chasing Arsenal down, who have been sensational, and of course we're clinging on to hopes of a top four. And I emphasize clinging on to hopes for a top four. So I've predicted a 2-2 draw. So if you want to let us know in the chat what you're thinking, what's your prediction for a scoreline and stuff like that, I'll pop them up in a few minutes. But it's going to be a fantastic game either way. Never without a little bit of controversy as well. And like I said, the respect that both managers have for each other. Pep was very clear about it, that it hasn't changed, that his respect for Liverpool and that team, he says, the sensational team, his respect hasn't changed and stuff like that, and rightly so. And I just hope the players can hopefully listen to that and take from it some sort of confidence to say that we are Liverpool, we want to go out there and we want to perform, we really want to push for this top four finish, and at least try and take something out of what's been a really, really poor season, for a multitude of reasons. But it'll be interesting to see how this top four race goes. It's absolutely sensational the way it's all set up at the moment. I mean, there's a real battle there for those European spots. The title race, who knows what way that might go, And then on top of that as well, that battle down at the bottom for those last 7 or 8 teams at the bottom there is absolutely unbelievable. 4 points separating the bottom 8 or something like that. It's going to be crazy. Let's see. Henry's going to be a bag of nerves come 12:30. Yeah, it's do you know what it is? And it's kind of a different nerves, isn't it, Henry, to what we're normally used to. Normally we'd be a bag of nerves in terms of, pushing into a title race and stuff like that. But this is kind of a different bag of nerves insofar as, with Brentford and Brighton hovering around us. You've obviously got Spurs there and Newcastle. But it's kind of like it's going to go into this game and put on a performance to show that we still have that about us. Win, lose or draw, that we still have a performance about us, that we're not going to go out there and just get pumped. Ian's thinking 3-1 or if not 3-2 Liverpool. That'd be fantastic. I'd take that all day long. And Acer's back. Wondering will Jurgen play same midfield against City as he did FA Cup semi-final last season? Fabinho, Thiago and Keita. I don't think he can play that, can he? Because apparently Keita's re-injured again. Keita's so frustrating, isn't he? Like it's just an absolute waste of time. Injured again during the week, apparently. Like it's just unbelievable. Thiago was out, so he can only play. His hands are kind of tied, really. I mean, what's his options there? His options are Fabinho, Henderson, Milner, Elliott. I don't know if he slots Jones in there or Carvalho. Is he going to put them in there? Or does he drop Ox back in there or something like that? He ain't got a lot of options, really, in fairness. Henry's in. High Acers and in. And Acers, Arsenal will destroy Leeds tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, that's what you would expect, depending on how the game goes. Because obviously, if they don't get an early enough goal, then a bit of nervousness might creep in there and stuff. And then I suppose it depends on the Man City result as well. If Man City were to go out and do a number on us tomorrow and put 3 points on the board, does that ratchet it up a little bit as well? Leeds, again, not easy to beat. They look on the face of it sometimes like they're easy to beat, but haven't been easy to beat this season and been very unlucky at times. So I don't know. And then as I said, I mean, we spoke about it last night, Aces, on the Thursday Tier Talk. That sometimes these results, especially in the last 10, 12 games of a season on a title race, you don't necessarily tend to drop points where you think you're going to in the bigger games. You'll tend to drop them on the road or at home, maybe to some of the smaller teams who are fighting. Remember, Leeds are bang slap in the middle of a relegation battle as well, so they're going to want to put on something, And Acers, hi Henry. Henry's back in. It depends whether we can get past the first 10 to 15 minutes without conceding, but I hope we can strike first. Draw's not good enough for both of us, so it's basically do or die time. Yeah, spot on. That's why I think both teams will be going for it, and that's why I think tomorrow we could see a few goals. It could be a very open game. Yes, Acers. Shout out to everyone on the chat. Absolutely, an ace in there. Looking forward to watching Prince versus Volcano and Del Boy Gunner. Yeah, absolutely. Post-match is sensational. I hope I'm home in time for it. Should be finished at that stage, yeah. Just let you know tomorrow as well, folks. Match reaction tomorrow. We'll be coming to you tomorrow evening because obviously I'm working tomorrow. I'm normally off on a Saturday for the ball, but I have to work tomorrow with the book signing and stuff like that. So it'll be coming at you later. I won't be able to do it during the day. But hopefully I'll be reacting to something good and it won't be kind of the troll that it has been. Henry's gone for 2-0 to the Arsenal. And Arsenal fans will take your hand off for that right now. Not a follower of any team, just love my football. That's the way to be, good man. Makes it less frustrating and nervous and all those other things that come with it. Listen, folks, again, just a short one. Just a short one tonight, just a quick preview there. I mean, this kind of game tends to not need a preview. It kind of sets itself. The story does be laid out. City in pursuit of a title, chasing after Arsenal. We're in pursuit of a top 4 spot. That's what's basically on the line tomorrow. They're in sensational form. Fabulous team. Great bench. We're in shocking form. Sprinkling a good talent. Most of it out of form. Let's see what happens, but it's definitely going to be interesting one. As always, folks, if you could subscribe to the channel and also hit a like on the video and hit that bell notification. Henry, okay, guys, I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm off to go to bed. Get a good night's sleep tonight, Henry. Big day tomorrow. WrestleMania, Man City, loads of great football tomorrow. Talk to you again soon, folks. Thanks for tuning in.